you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender hog wild beef brisket and top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Blake Farm Outfitters, and we're all about equipping the modern farmer. Our team is Nebraska's go-to for precision planting, SurePoint liquid systems, Green Eye Spot Spray, and more. So whether you're considering an equipment upgrade, adding new tech, or just need a trained eye to service what you have, check us out. Creep on us at BlakeFarmOutfitters.com and get connected with our team of experts. We're excited to help you find what's next. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
You started your business to build something special. Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Geode Health is now open in Lincoln, bringing high-quality mental health care to the community. Located downtown near Lincoln Central Business District, this is Geode's first location in Nebraska and part of a growing national footprint. Now welcoming patients to work with Dr. Eric Curry, board-certified outpatient psychiatrist specializing in adult mental health care, including treatment for ADHD, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, medication management, and more. Geode is also growing in its Lincoln Care Team, with opportunities for therapists interested in collaborative, patient-centered care. Appointments available now. Visit geodehealth.com. That's GEODE health.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your 93.7 The Ticket Sports Update. I'm Connor Kermit. Last night, Nebraska basketball fell to the Iowa Hawkeyes 57-52 at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City. The Huskers gave up 11 offensive rebounds to just their own 2, proving to be the difference in the game. The loss drops Nebraska to 22-4 on the season. In other scores from yesterday's loaded slate of college hoops, Michigan bests Purdue on the road 91-80. SMU upsets Louisville 95-85. Michigan State clobbers UCLA 82-59. Number 24 Wisconsin fell to Ohio State 86-69. 13 Texas Tech lost to Arizona State 72-67. And maybe the most surprising conclusion, NC State throttles 16th ranked North Carolina 82-58. For more sports updates, keep it tuned here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Ostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Folks, welcome to The Drive. We got my man Rudy, the man, the myth, Go Bear, Gress in the house. But folks, I got to let you know, just an apology, he's a Longhorn. Rudy, what's up, my man?
How you doing, sir? Good morning. Yeah, I'm sorry for everyone listening. There will be some Longhorn bias every now and
then. Hey, the good thing about it though, Rudy, man, you're not over the top with it though, man. You're just mild with it. Rudy, I was talking to a client yesterday in Longview, Texas.
Okay.
You know, that's out in the eastern part of the state, of course.
Yep.
Longview, you got Tyler over there. But I was telling her, man, one time I was in a Cracker Barrel down in Tyler area. And this is about 15 years ago, Rudy. Rudy, how old are you, 22, 21?
23 now.
Yeah, he was about 8 years old, bro. About 8. But in the Cracker Barrel, you know where they have those T-shirts and all that stuff that's in the front when you're walking out? Man, on the front of this shirt, it said, it was, you know, Texas burnt orange and everything. It says, "We're not arrogant. We're that good."
Yep.
I was like, come on, man, you know. But Rudy, when you got championships, you can brag. If you got them, you can talk. And Texas has got them in multiple sports, so they can talk. Rudy, how you doing this morning, man?
Pretty good. Baseball's in full swing now, so a little tired, but other than that, it's going good. The weather's good for a couple more days, hopefully, but doing pretty good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. It's I had a pretty uneventful drive yesterday afternoon. Actually, I ended up leaving later than I wanted to, but I wanted to get some more stuff done in my office before I hit the road. My main thing was just to be here in Sioux Falls before tip-off. So I mean, it was a cool drive. A little bit of rain, but nothing too bad, man. But got a flight at 1:00 to St. Louis, so it's an afternoon to travel, man. But it's all good, bro. All good. Man, I tell you what, Rudy, let me ask you this. First of all, kind of give you folks a quick rundown. We're going to have Swim. He's going to be calling in at 10 o'clock from the road. Of course, we can't bury the lead as bad as I would love to not only bury the lead, choke the lead, throw the lead away, dump the lead, Rudy, and everything else, with Nebraska dropping 57-52, which was a night. Those of you who watched the game, Rudy, you were probably in baseball practice during the game, weren't you?
Yeah, I saw the last couple minutes of the game, and then that little stretch where they weren't really scoring much points at the end of the game. So that was all I saw. But yeah,
Rudy, that cold stretch cost Nebraska. First, I'm just going to say this, Rudy. Before I do that, because I was lifting a little heavier today with a little more intensity because I woke up and I was still, and I'm pretty even keel most of the time. But as I was kind of just watching highlights on my phone between sets, let me just do the rundown, brother, because Rudy, I'm gonna get upset, man. So I'm just gonna hold my roll. Folks, we're gonna discuss as we always do, kind of the agenda, the rundown. We're going to obviously kind of give our first 2 cents on this Nebraska game. And as my good brother Austin Orman always says, him and Nick are on the road right now, heading back from Iowa City. If you'd like to join the show, participate in the show, always call or text in 402-464-5685. Again, that's 402-464-5685. Because at the 10:30 segment, it's me and Rudy just going to be reading text messages, talking to you. Feel free to call in as long as it's after 10:30 when Swim is not on the phone. Because we want to get your input on last night's game. There's a lot of different storylines from last night's game in Iowa City. So we'll discuss that. At 9:30, we've got some interesting news. IMG, the powerhouse that brings in athletes from literally all over the world, they were slapped with a major fine. And when you find out, you're going to be like, say what? Yeah. And then TJ Finley, who's almost older than me, Rudy, he finds another location, and where he ends up, you're going to be scratching your head. And there's some significance about this school. I mean, not necessarily, but it stands out as a black guy as far as Nebraska basketball goes. We'll give you some history about that, where TJ Finley, who has been at half a dozen schools, what school he decided to go to and where he started, it's going to make you say, what in the world, in the words of Marvin Gaye, what's going on? So we'll discuss that as well. Rudy, what's your initial thoughts on the game last night? Text line, let us know yours as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anytime you're going to go on the road, there's always some kind of external factors there that aren't on the court. So I think that stood out a little bit. I heard how vulgar some of those chants were getting and stuff. Not that that's an excuse or anything, but yeah, I think it's a little more than just a regular road game for the Huskers. So I think that that was worth noting for me, at least. I think, like you said, that stretch at the end was unideal, especially at that point in the game. And then I'm looking at some stats here. The biggest Nebraska lead was a 3-point lead in the first half with 13 minutes to go still. So, I mean, it didn't seem like the Nebraska we're used to seeing in these big games. It's just, I don't know, with the way these stats are looking, some of the best scoring runs, again, being a 7-point run for Nebraska in the start of the second half. It's just not the team we're expecting to see, really, sometimes.
Rudy, like I said, we're definitely going to dig in the numbers, between the numbers, but there's some stats that jump out. Here's kind of just my first 2 cents of it, my initial analysis. Sloppy.
Yeah.
It was sloppy officiating, sloppy play. Some uncharacteristic things in Nebraska. But Rudy, I'm going to say this, man. When somebody beats you, now I'm going to say this with a disclaimer. I'm not tipping my hat to Florida State 1993. The old school Husker fans going to know what I'm talking about. No, I'm not tipping my hat when you blow a game like that. When the Zebras, aka the refs, influence a game as much as they did last night. Were the refs atrocious? Absolute garbage. And Rudy, I don't tweet a whole lot. But I tweeted, it was just, everything I tweeted last night was just, I said, if I'm taking a fine after the game, Fred is a better man to me because, first of all, I probably got tossed out of the game because with about a minute left when Mass took that when they called him for the screen foul where they said it was a block. I was like, what are you talking about? And then the over and back, he had never established on Jamarcus when he was coming across. The ball had never went over anyway, so that was another one. There was the call where the ref slowed the game down, where Frager was going up for a rebound. He's on his feet. The guy lands on Frager's back. They hold the game up for that. Then they finally called, hey, it was no call. The number of times we had to blow video time, just as far as rewatch the video, it just blew me away. Now, granted, there were some horrible calls they called on Iowa as well. I'll say that. But it seems like Nebraska this year has been on the raw deal 26. Is that why Nebraska lost the game? Absolutely not. Nebraska lost the game because they didn't score for long periods of time as far as that goes. And they got out-rebounded. So I'm not going to say it was on the refs. And I'll never place things on the refs besides 1993, Rudy, against Florida State. So Nebraska had their opportunities, they had their chances. Iowa is going to be Iowa, as far as, the fans, et cetera. But, hey, they beat us. It is what it is. And I'm going to say this. And, Rudy, I was worried about this game yesterday. Folks that were listening, I was like, you know what? It's a border war. Iowa needs this game. They're going to have the blackout. Our very own Jeff Essink, obviously Jeff and Nicole, who have their show on Sunday mornings. Jeff was in his son Ben were there. the explicitives the fans reel out, etc. You know what, man? Call me old school, but it is what it is. I mean, Sandiford was like, hey, man, I'm not even paying attention to that. I mean, fans are going to be fans, and I'm not just putting Iowa out there. Fans are going to be fans regardless of where you go, and some are better than others. Some say some things more vulgar than others. That ain't why Nebraska lost a dang game, as far as that goes. So I thought it was just a sloppy game. They just seemed like they were just sluggish all night, man. That's just me. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think too, back to the fouls there, that I don't think this is just a last night issue. I just hate the kind of foul baiting going on, the pump fake into the forced contact on the three, like we saw at the end of the game there for more free throws, of course, knocks down all three after that. But yeah, I think they were sluggish. We have a text here from the text line too from Mountain Westy here. He says, we look like we had no fire lit underneath us. We look scared. And I completely agree. It didn't look like they didn't want to be out there. It just didn't look like they had any urgency to be out there, if that makes sense.
No, Rudy, it makes perfect sense. And MT Westy, I agree with you. I wouldn't say, this is just me with MT Westy, I wouldn't say personally that they look scared. They look disinterested for the most part, is what I'm saying. With an exception, and this seems always to be the narrative, except Sam. I'm not saying there wasn't other guys who stepped in occasionally, but Rudy, you know as well as I do, if you want to go in March and not just win a game, obviously that'd be nice to get that. But first of all, I'm more worried about Penn State coming up and the rest of our schedule. But if we're talking about March, that performance by Nebraska last night, and Rudy, let's be honest, man, they started off slow against Purdue. They started off slow against Northwestern. They started off slow again. Now, a team like Northwestern, no disrespect, but besides Martinelli, a lot of those other guys aren't going to scare you that much as far as that goes. That didn't bode well with Purdue, as we found that out. You spot them 14-1. You have to come back from 22. You had a chance to win it, and I'm not putting it all on Rank Mass, but at the same time, you do have a chance to win it. But again, that story has been the same the past 3 games. And against a team like an Iowa, who's 18-6, now 19-6, you can't start slow because their roster is going to make you pay. Northwestern, at the second half, you'd kind of just, try to just exert your will, if you would. Your talent, you're deeper, you're more athletic, you're more talented. That wasn't so last night against Iowa. We knew that. The place was on fire. Sanford was coming back home. The all blackout. They needed this win. Big Ten Network. Nebraska, my biggest concern, it's not talent with them. It's not toughness. It seems like they sometimes pick and choose when they want to have, to your point, MT Westy, when they want to have fire lit. And if you want to be a team that's more than just one and done in the tournament, you got to be ready to go every night, every afternoon. I don't care if it's an 11 o'clock tip-off. I don't care if it's an 8 o'clock tip-off. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock. You have to be ready to go because those top-tier teams, it doesn't matter where they play at. It doesn't matter what time it's time to play. They come with their hard hats and their lunch pails, and they come to play basketball. Nebraska, Rudy, has been missing in the mental toughness aspect in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I think, too, at the start of the year, I can't remember who the exact opponent was, but the clip of Coach kind of at halftime saying, like, this isn't who we are. Let's revamp here. Let's re-get. And obviously, there's a reason halftime's a thing. You need those chances to regroup and reset whenever needed. But, like, to your point as well, there's been multiple times, not even just the past 3 games, kind of just sprinkled throughout the season where they do come out a little lackadaisical in that first half. And now you have to have this comeback. Now you have to be perfect in the second half, which hasn't been a huge issue all the time. But like you're saying, when you start facing better teams, the better teams themselves are going to be here, and they're not going to just let you back in that door like we've been seeing, like we saw last night as well. So I completely agree with everything you're saying right now, AD.
Rudy, in the perfect example, what you just brought up is spot on. The better teams will not let you back in. I go back to Purdue again, man, and how they started off slow and they had to exert so much energy just to get back in the game. Now, granted, Rank makes that free throw. Maybe that changes because I'm not going to be one because they still had ample amount of time, Purdue, to come down and get a bucket. But I'll tell you what, it definitely changes their urgency and their play selection by him missing that free throw. And again, I'm not hanging on Mass, but when you get down that many and have to exert so much energy and so much resource to get back, you just can't do that, and we've seen that, to your point, to better teams are not going to allow that. Rudy, I'm going to tell you something. I personally feel this game on Saturday at 1 o'clock against Penn State, Nebraska's got to come out with a chip on their shoulder and just blow these boys off the court. Now, I always say just win, and you still just want to just win. But I think to exercise some of their own demons, if you would, because I don't care what you try to tell me in the press, what you say in the clippings or whatever, mentally, these things are on you as an athlete. Rudy, you guys, you Prairie Wolves, you guys dropped 3. 2 of them, I'm not saying you dropped. Yeah, you dropped 2 out of that 3. The 2 that you dropped was because you seem uninterested in the first 4 innings or the 5 innings. Then in the 7th, you try to pull a miracle. Eventually, that starts to wear you, regardless if it's baseball, basketball, or football. They have to get themselves out of this slump of starting slow.
Yeah, I agree. And like that with any sport, it's like that. And we kind of saw it too. I during that possession where we did see the offensive charge foul, whatever the screen foul we saw at the end of the game, they just looked like they weren't in their kind of system of basketball. They were running around. They all kind of looked like chickens with their heads cut off. They were just running around. And I told my roommate, we're watching the game the last couple minutes, and I told him, like, they got to slow it down here. Like, this is not. They obviously need that urgency, but there was enough time to get a decent shot off and then play some defense. But then you start running out there, you're kind of just scrambling around, and boom, now you get an offensive foul. Whether that was a foul or not, it's a different question. But still, you got to stay with your game as much as you can. I think that's where that discrepancy between, now we're trying to have a comeback comes, and now you're like you're saying, the urgency becomes a little different, and they're just a different team out there sometimes like that.
They really are. And I tell you what, before we go to break, I got a few more texts I'm going to read, and also a quick story. Big Ty, hey, brother, as hard as it is to say it, it's true. They got pushed around by Big Brother again. Iowa just kind of a different Iowa team as far as that goes, because under McCullough, man, those guys played defense. They were physical. They just seemed like they wanted it more. There's no other way for me to explain it, Rudy. Todd Husker Biker, what's up? Good morning, brother. I still think it is a 7-man rotation, and they hit a mental and physical wall. Husker Biker, I tell you what, man, the way they've played last night in the past 3 games. Now, granted, of course, you got a Northwestern who you should have beaten. They should have won last night, with all due honesty, if they would have played the way they're capable of playing. That's why I said capable of playing. But I think it's wearing on them a little bit. However, again, if you want to be more than one and done, you can't come out slow like you did last night. Unknown Texter 10,001. What's up, brother? I think the lack of depth is starting to show its impact on outside shooting driven offense. Maybe I think that's legitimate as well. In saying that, if Sanford's not hot, Jamarcus is kind of, he's hit some shots here and there, man, but he's kind of struggled a little bit on the offensive end. And not just him. It just seems like they're just disjointed a little bit. Frager really wasn't at his best last night. It was just a disjointed, and like I said to start the show, Rudy, it was just a sloppy game. Just a sloppy, choppy game that surprisingly, it didn't seem like Nebraska was that interested at first, because you knew that Iowa was going to come out on fire. You just knew that. In Nebraska, the thing that makes me scratch my head, not doubting this team, and Rudy, I have to keep in perspective for me, this team is 22-4. 3 out of those losses, of course, were ranked teams. This one's not a ranked team. This one, definitely, because it's Iowa. I make no bones about it. I am no fan of Iowa. But because of their team that you should have beaten, the way that we've seen you see, we know they're capable of playing better, and to see them not get up for a border rival game in a place they have not won very often. They just not won very often in Iowa, as far as that goes. It was disappointing to see that. So out of all the games we've lost, I can stomach the Michigan, I can stomach the Illinois, I can stomach the Purdue, but freaking Iowa.
Yep.
Come on, Rudy. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I agree, especially some of that Longhorn insight here. I'm cool with not making the playoffs if you can beat Oklahoma and A&M. Like, these are the games that obviously Nebraska's going to be in this tournament. Obviously, you got bigger fish to fry, but at the end of the day, you got to look back at this schedule and realize exactly that. You just lost another one to Iowa, especially on the road. Like, you could have been the villain for the night, and you let it slip away just because of sloppy play, like we've said.
Yes, and the thing about it, man, I'm in Sioux Falls, but there's a lot of Iowa people here, and place where I was watching at Stogie's is a place here in Sioux Falls, real cool spot, man. Cigar, chilling, have my laptop up, and the guy, I know him, Drew, he owns it, and he's really cool though. He doesn't get in your face or nothing like that. He just goes, "You need a hug?" I'm like, "Man, I had to punch you right now, man." But he wasn't boisterous or nothing like that. Drew's a good dude. I've met him the past few times I've been down there. Stogie's a place here in Sioux Falls. Cool little spot. I know Jake knows it as well. But yeah, it was just disappointing. Back one of the patrons is from Iowa, but a Nebraska fan. And he said pretty much with the text, like I see, it's just not just me. And he goes, it seemed like they were just not interested. And that's the part I don't get, Rudy. I mean, I know it's sports. I know it goes up and down. I can go back when you go back to Nebraska football years ago, and I'm just only going because of my, just where I can speak from. When we played against Wyoming, and that's a game that Brooke Behringer went out with a collapsed lung. Matt Turman comes in. But that first half, we just didn't seem very interested. I'll bring it back to Iowa, but Iowa State. Coach Osborne kept telling us all week long, you guys are practicing flat, and if you're not careful, you're going to lose at Ames. Sure enough, we lost at Ames. So it happens in all sports where you just come out, you just think, well, we're just going to beat these dudes. Well, those dudes are Division 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to throw the division out. They're playing too. There's a reason why they're on that team. So like I said, I'm concerned. And people may think I'm always kind of cautious. I know that. But, man, I'm going to tell you something. It's cyclical, man. And the mental part is sometimes bigger to get over just the physical part, the talent. Because if you're in your own head, man, it can get awfully dicey out there. So I'm very interested to see how they respond Saturday versus a Penn State team that they should. Now, I put that out there. They should run out the gym. Whether they do or not, we'll find out, Rudy. We'll find out. Folks, when we come back, we've got just a smorgasbord of news. There's news out of Green Bay, major change out of Green Bay in the NFL. Again, IMG was slapped with a ridiculously large fine, and man, it's one that makes you scratch your head. Also, TJ Finley, man, he's been at more schools almost longer than Rudy's been alive. As far as that goes, Rudy was in like a grade school when this guy started school hopping. So we'll discuss that as well. Swim will call in from the road at 10 a.m. hour. Him and Austin are making their way back. So thoughts and prayers those guys make their way safely back over the highways. We'll be back, folks. It's a drive. It's AD. We got my man Rudy hanging in tight as well. We'll be back.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Bagels & Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. February's cream cheese flavor is white chocolate raspberry. Pair it with a strawberry cold foam. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen and Stein Stamina, and more. Bach beer will be flowing and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $10 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker Baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket's social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, to brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy and mild with the national high at 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, continued breeze, a low around 32. And tomorrow, a chance of rain and snow showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and colder, a high of 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Plucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Back to the Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
My man, he's like, where's AD? Dude, there's all sorts of news breaking and going on, man. Folks, first of all, we always want to talk about our good friend Jack Russell, who keeps this segment in this show rolling. Jack Russell is a Farm Bureau representative since 1999. Jack can help protect your home, your vehicle, your family, even your future. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100 and learn how Jack Russell can help you. Visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or in Seward to get the top-notch service by Jack Russell of Farm Bureau. Rudy, there's been some breaking news, man. Actually, it's really not breaking because it happened kind of overnight, if you would. But I'm not surprised because me and Swim were just talking about this. Coaches leaving head coaching positions to go to other places. And right now, I just seen this. It came across on it was on Yahoo, it was on Sports Illustrated, and came this morning. I seen it when I was working out this morning. I'm gonna say Nebraska, Northern Illinois Huskies football coach, Coach Thomas Hammock. He leaves Northern Illinois after 7 years, 3 bowl appearances, 2 bowl wins, and check this out, Rudy. He's going to Seattle to become their running backs coach. And if you remember Northern Illinois and Thomas Hammock, you remember they're the ones that beat Notre Dame in 2024. They shocked then number 5 Notre Dame, the first MAC team to beat a top 5 opponent. If you remember Thomas Hammock's emotional post-game interview, it kind of went viral nationwide. Even when they were 3-9 that season, but it was one of the biggest wins, probably the biggest win in their school history, beating number 5 Notre Dame at that time in 2024. But Rudy, I'm not sure if you're listening last week. I think you might have been in the studio. Bobby Hawk, okay, the former coach at Montana. He left Montana to become the defensive coordinator at Illinois. This is another one. We're seeing this trend. In fact, I copied you on that text I just sent to Swim, and I almost put DJ Khaled said another one, because Rudy, we're starting to see these coaches at these schools that don't have necessarily the resources because they're seeing their rosters get plucked. You look at the NIL money focus versus education focus, short-term gain versus long-term growth. You're seeing a lot of these coaches saying, you know what? I still want to coach, but I don't want this stress.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason. I know, obviously, probably not similar issues for why Saban decided to not stay coaching, but like NIL is impacting people even at the top of the top programs, where it's something that we're seeing it with Bill Belichick. It's not the football he's used to. Obviously, that's just college to NFL changes anyways. But I agree. I think with how easy it is to have, if you're looking at your roster, one of your guys goes out there, gets MAC Player of the Year, MAC whatever it may be, he's probably not going to be around next year. And if he is, you're going to have to pay him money that you probably don't have. And so, yeah, I agree. I think they're kind of at a handicap with a lot of these. The NIL is helping everybody, we think, but obviously there's going to be some guys towards the bottom of the totem pole that just don't get that type of the resources and the help and the glorification that all these other schools kind of get with it, I think.
Absolutely. You're starting to see the casualties, Rudy, kick in because you got some good coaches. Now, granted, Hammock's record wasn't, stellar, 35-47, but 3 bowl appearances, 2 bowl wins. But he had previously, before he got to Northern Illinois, he was the running backs coach for the Baltimore Ravens from 2014 to 2018. So really, like I said, this is definitely not a firing. This is an NFL opportunity for him to get back. And you figure being a running backs coach in the NFL compared to the money he was probably making at Northern Illinois, I don't know those numbers, so I don't want to assume. I don't want to, I'm sorry, not state those are facts. I'm going to assume he's going to make more money as the running backs coach for the Seattle Seahawks than he would at a school of the size of a Northern Illinois. So Thomas Hammock leaves, resigns from there at Northern Illinois, takes over the running backs position there for the Seattle Seahawks. Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, as far as that goes. Rudy, me and you didn't get to, haven't talked a lot, just kind of hit and miss in the mornings. What was your whole kind of, I know this is old news, but at the same time, who were you pulling for in that game, or were you like me, you didn't care?
Yeah, I kind of didn't care. I'm a Packers fan, so I hate both of those teams pretty equally. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not a big Drake May fan personally. I think he's good. I'm just not bought in on him yet. So I was rooting for the Seahawks, unfortunately. So it was a decent Super Bowl, nothing too flashy really, but it was a good game, I guess, towards the end for sure.
Yeah, it was 12-0 going into the fourth, and it just, like I said, man, I could hardly keep my eyes open during that game, but it is what it is. Speaking of your Packers, man, I didn't know. I think I sent you this. You probably had seen it. Rich Bisaccia. Rich is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
He is leaving. He's Bisaccia. I always mess up his last name, but Rich Bisaccia. How do you pronounce it, Rudy? Help me. It's Bisaccia or Bisaccia?
I say Bisaccia, I think, yeah.
Bisaccia. Regards, Rich is leaving. Rich had served as special teams coordinator in the collegiate ranks at Clemson, South Carolina. He was at Ole Miss. He was at Auburn, earlier stint at South Carolina. But you look at his career, and this is somewhat shocking because there had been some, I'm not going to say, and I think I was reading either the Sporting News. No, in fact, I know exactly what it was. It was the Athletic, to where upstairs they were asking some questions about their performance because their special teams ranking was 30th over the past 4 years. And you know as well as I do, Rudy, when you got 32 teams, you're ranked 30th. That doesn't bode well.
Nope.
It doesn't bode well. Were you surprised by him stepping down, though?
I mean, I wouldn't say surprised in like the sense of I think it's like world breaking news either, but I think it's one that I didn't see it coming. I'll say so. Like it was not drastically surprising, but one that I just didn't see coming. If that makes sense too.
You know, I was surprised as well, though, man, because you think about when he took over. And personally, Rudy, I think the Raiders dropped the ball when he was there. He was their interim head coach in 2021. He took over when John Gruden resigned. You know, the comments that Gruden made and the NFL lawsuits and all the rest of that stuff, neither here or there now. But he led the Raiders to a 7-5 finish. He guided that team to a 10-7 record and playoff appearance. And the Raiders ended up decided to go with a different route. I personally thought they should have kept him. Some buddies of mine, Aikman Udofia, is a diehard Raiders fan, so he's been living in misery for quite some time since the Marcus Allen days, Rich Gannon, if you would, James Jett. Really, I'm going way back on you. But I thought they dropped the ball there. But Rich Bisaccia is no longer the special teams coach for the Green Bay Packers. He had stints with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also the Chargers, as well as obviously was 2018 to 2021 with the Raiders. Rudy, the story that intrigues me the most, and folks, this lawsuit. So IMG, Rudy, did you have a chance to look at that, man?
Yeah, I read a little bit on it actually.
What was your initial thoughts before I break it out?
I read that headline and I just could not. Like the more I kept reading the headline, that's not where I thought the sentence was going to finish off at. So it was interesting.
Folks, IMG, which you may have heard of, all right, it's a huge athletic academy down there in Bradenton, Florida. The U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets and Control fined IMG $1.72 million. It stems from 89 violations of U.S. counter-narcotic sanctions. Folks, 89 violations of counter-narcotic sanctions. Basically, we're saying you're getting drug money from the cartel. Between 2018 to 2022, which lets you know, Rudy, the feds were looking at this for a while.
Oh, yeah.
IMG accepted tuition payments tied to 2 individuals sanctioned for connections to the Mexican drug cartel. Tuition ranged from $97,000 to $102,000 per year per student. Payments were reportedly included wire transfers from third parties in Mexico. The OFAC stated IMG had access to the names of the sanctioned individuals, but failed to properly screen them. So, Rudy, do you think this is a situation they just didn't know, or they knew and just said, hopefully the feds don't find out? What do you think it was? Was it just omission, or was it ignorance?
Yeah, I think ignorance. I think the fact, like you said, they failed to screen them properly kind of raises some flags there. But I mean, with how much money they're probably charging all these guys, I can kind of see how they also, just devil's advocate, probably don't look into too much where the money comes from as long as they kind of get the money. But yeah, I think if you failed to properly do everything right by these kids, you might have known something might have been up there. So I don't know. This is crazy, really.
It's crazy, folks. I would encourage you to dig into this because it is nuts. Rudy, there's a movie called, have you seen the movie Boys in the Hood? Old movie, Boys in the Hood, Ice Cube. Remember Cuban Goodings Jr. and his dad is Lawrence Fishburne, and there's a partner. He goes, "Oh, you gonna learn, Trey? You gonna learn." IMG 1.7 million. Oh, you gonna learn to scream properly from here on out. As far as that goes, man. IMG's response was this. They said, we did not have an OFAC sanctions compliance program in place at the time. The academy also said it self-disclosed the issue. So that is a big deal right there, Rudy, in that, folks, they did self-disclose it. Hey, this was something we discovered. We cooperated fully. They claims they've implemented a comprehensive sanctions compliance program since then, so this doesn't happen again. But Rudy, the bigger picture is this, man. It's elite prep sports. And to your point, with the amount of money they have coming through that place, they're just running numbers, running checks, check cards, whatever it may be, and realizing we have to do a better job of screening where these funds and transactions are coming from. Because when you're getting transactions from a third party, the Mexican drug cartel, there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a major issue. So it's going to be interesting. I think it was oversight, to your point. I don't think it was flat out negligence. If it was negligence, they sure as heck wouldn't have self-reported it. as far as that goes. They realize the mistake and they say, hey, we got to get this right. But elite markets like IMG, it's a pipeline, as you know, to college and pro sports. And the reality is this: they're going to have to require a higher financial vetting standard. And this shows it right here. IMG is the creme de la creme of the pipeline to collegiate and pro sports. So they're, and it's not just football either. It's all sports. That is a massive campus down there. They have better facilities than some Division I schools as far as that goes.
Easily.
So they've got it. They, like I said, the thing that was encouraging is to see they did it themselves. They self-reported and said, hey, you know what? We messed up. My bad. My bad. Rudy, real quick before we go to break, man, initial thoughts on TJ Finley.
I think my initial thought, since he'll be at UIW down in San Antonio, I think it's cool. But I think the fact that this is his 7th school now, this is, yeah, like that. That's just, I don't know, 7 years. I'm not. That just does not sound real at all. Especially like you're saying the timeline on the schools he's been at, and then to just finish at UIW, maybe finish, who knows? Like it's been a journey for him for sure. I'm not sure how I feel about that entirely, but we'll see.
Rudy, I'm gonna tell you what I feel about it. I think it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Come on, man. I mean, the brother started at LSU in 2020. Now here's the significance about Incarnate Word. They're the ones that beat Nebraska in basketball about 5 years ago, give or take. Text line, let me know what year that was. I did not look that up this morning, but Incarnate Word beat Nebraska. So, Rudy, think about this. A little small school in your home state of Texas. Now, San Antonio's not small, but this school is extremely small. And they came into Nebraska and beat Nebraska. Incarnate Word. Literally, we had to look up where the school was at when they beat us. But Incarnate Word, where he's going, Rudy, how do you go from LSU to Incarnate Word? You think about this young man. Okay, here's where he started. He started at LSU. Then he went to Auburn. He went to Texas State, Western Kentucky, Tulane, Georgia State, and now he's at Incarnate Word. Rudy, this is not normal. Unfortunately, it's becoming the normal behavior. Rudy, I've never asked you this. Text line, let me know what you think about 7 freaking schools. At what point is growth and what point is it drift? Yeah. I mean, Rudy, how are you getting developed being at 7 schools, bro?
Yeah, there's no way. No way.
No.
Like there's
this
no way.
This is absurd.
Yeah, you can't adapt to a system. Like you're just out there doing your own thing at this point. It has to be on that field. It's crazy. Yeah, he did the whole reverse Cam Ward trajectory right there. Ended at UIW. That's not supposed to happen. Not at all.
Dude, Rudy, this is going to be a case study later on, man, because, I mean, this is just, it's getting ridiculous. You had a young man up at, that started off at USC. Now he's at Montana. I think it's like his 8th or 9th year. You got people that got doctorate degrees in 9 years. You got lawyers in shorter time than that. I mean, it's just absurd. It's getting more and more ridiculous to where the NCAA is not even, Rudy, at this point, they're not even a rubber stamp. They're just there in name only.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't know. So TJ Finley, folks, is at his 7th school. He goes to Incarnate Word. He started at LSU, a slew of other schools through there, and now he's down in San Antonio in year number 7. What in the world are we doing? Yeah, John in Cortland goes, what's he hiding from?
The real world. I get it.
Yes. And Blake Larson, thanks, brother. That was a Tim Miles error. You're exactly right. Thank you so much. When Nebraska had lost to Incarnate Word. Blake, I remember that game, and I'm just thinking, what in the world is going on? So let me say this. 7 years ago, we lost to Incarnate Word. We're 22-4 today. Doesn't absolve what happened last night in Iowa City. By no means am I saying that. But doggone, man. Incarnate Word. So Nebraska has definitely made progress. Actually, obviously, the historical progress this year, big time. During this 3-year stretch. Folks, when we come back, we got a quick history segment. Before we go, though, Pete Ferguson, what's up? Pete, it was your birthday yesterday, but, man, you're like me. My birthday was 9th. Yours was yesterday. Also, former Husker Clester Johnson's birthday. And, man, I can't forget about my man. I was going to do it during the history segment. Our very own Jay Foreman, number 56, number 44, number 1 in your heart, 50. Jay Foreman joins the 50-piece club today. And Rudy, I'll text you this picture. I sent it to a group of buddies. It's a picture of me and Jay I believe it's the 94 Orange Bowl all those years ago. I'm chilling with some little headphones. They weren't even, you can't even call them Beats. They were just Leats because they were so small. They were just so small. But Jay, man, happy birthday to your brother. Love you, man. Appreciate you. We're talking 34 years of friendship and brotherhood, man. It's just crazy. He joins the 50 Club. So happy birthday. And Pete, again, to you. Pete's question is the issue with the scholar athlete or the schools that keep taking them? Pete, I'm with you. I think it's the schools. It's an adult issue. And Pete, I have said this, and Rudy, you've heard me say this a number of times. I'm not blaming the kids for something the adults allow them to do. I'm just not. I'm not going to blame the students. And I'm granted, I say kids, but I know they're young adults. But there's a system that allows them to do it, so they're going to do it. It's not illegal what they're doing, but it's absurd what we're allowing. It's not illegal what they're doing, but it's absurd what we are allowing these student athletes to do. It's ridiculous. College football is sick. Bottom line. College sports, not just football, college sports is sick. But I'm not blaming the student athletes because they don't make the rules. They don't make them. Folks, when we come back, very quick history segment, and we will have our main man swim one lane on his way back. We'll call in two and break down the Iowa game. It's The Drive. You got me, my boy, Rudy, in the house. We'll be right back.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has zero hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
Good morning, Breakers. This is Scott Miller from Midwest Bank. When I recently joined Midwest Bank, I was immediately impressed by our exceptional service. My first customer made the switch from a large corporate bank and didn't have to wait in line or call a 1-800 number. We treated him like family. He now visits the bank just to say hello. While other banks go corporate, we stay Nebraska. Visit us at midwest.bank or drop by a branch today. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down. The snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Husker Nation, your perfect softball plan is here. With the flexible Husker softball on deck deal, you choose the action. For just $38, pick any 4 games plus 1 from the Can't Miss Iowa series. Build your own schedule, catch your favorite matchups, and cheer on the Huskers your way all season long. But don't wait, these mini plans won't last. Visit huskers.com/tickets and make your own mini plan today. Go Big Red.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy and mild with an afternoon high of 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, continued breeze, a low around 32. And tomorrow, a chance of rain and snow showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and colder, a high of 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Folks, we are back for a very quick history segment. Rudy, man, bro, I packed my pre-workout stuff in these little containers where they're really small. But then as I was putting it in, just get my scoops out this morning. It's real portable, but it's all white. I'm thinking I might want to leave this in my car and not take it to airport security.
You're doing the ING Academy scandal going on now.
No, Rudy, I be cuffed like this. Honestly, officer, it's pre-workout and creatine. Yep. Sure it is, buddy. But you see how it is in these.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it.
What you think, dog? I've taken it with me before, but I've always had it like I had the little small contain, like a plastic zip, and it says it on it. I'm thinking taking something without the labels on it, man. I don't know if that's a good idea, man.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine. I can see why you might get questioned a little bit more today for it.
Hey, Rudy, I'm gonna text you, log. Hey, bro, you got any bail? You got any bail money, bro? They tried to get me 5 to 10 for pre-workout. Well, folks, in Husker history, and this is something that brings perspective because I'm still pissed off. And like I said earlier, Rudy, I was not pissed off about Illinois, Purdue, I just wasn't. I wasn't pissed off with those games. But I'll tell you what, I was pissed off about last night's game. Very pissed off about last night's game. I wasn't pissed off with Michigan yet. 2 year players, key players out in there. But here's some things to show you how far Nebraska has come. This was back in 2021. The Huskers were streak busters Sunday. They played Penn State. Their 62-61 win, it ended, Rudy, check this out, a Big Ten conference losing streak stretching back to January of 2020. And a road losing streak that started in 2019. Think about that. They ended a streak by beating Penn State, who they play Saturday, 62-61. It was a Big Ten conference losing streak that stretched over a year. That's crazy to think about. And a road losing streak that started almost 2 years prior to that. Two big players during that game were Derek Walker, who the undersized beast as he was, and Teddy Allen buckets as well. So Derek Walker and Teddy Allen were huge players, huge contributors in that game. But that is Husker history and just sports history for today. So Swim will be joining us. So Rudy, it shows you how far Nebraska's come, as far as that goes. Obviously it's this year, but it helps me keep in perspective. Now it doesn't excuse and it doesn't absolve what happened last night, but it also makes me wonder. Now, AD, we were talking about Nebraska just losing an incarnate word 7 years ago. All right, so pump your brakes. They got to get together. We do know that. That. Folks, we got Swim calling in. We're going to take a quick break, and then Swim will call in, and we are going to go between the numbers. Swim was in the house last night there in Iowa City. We'll get his perspective from the road. We got AD and Rudy holding it down. Rudy's in the mothership. I am in Sioux Falls. We'll be right back. It's The Drive.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas, this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen and Stein Stamina, and more. Bach beer will be flowing and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $10 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
You're looking for a cast for today. We'll see increasing clouds throughout the day. It'll be breezy and mild. The afternoon high is 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, continued breeze, low around 32. And tomorrow, a chance of rain and snow showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and colder, a high of 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes a complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of BJ Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good.
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Folks, we are back for the 10 o'clock segment. We got our main man, Rudy, holding it down on the ones and twos of the mothership. Folks, come on into the mill. Go check out Rudy and the rest of the team that are there. Get a cup of hot coffee, cold coffee, pastries, assorted items and gifts. And Rudy, I'm about to get one of them mill sweatshirts. That's pretty cool, too. So I want to pick up one of those but they have it in a red and white one. But without further delay, we got my man Swim on the line on his way heading back to the west from Iowa City. Swim, how you doing, brother?
Good morning, AD, Rudy. Appreciate you guys holding down the fort. Yeah, we're having a good time. We're going through Des Moines as we speak, so we'll be back in town about 12:30 or so.
Oh, nice. You guys got not too bad of a drive at all, then, man.
No, it's been a crazy couple of hours and stuff, and obviously the game not going necessarily how Nebraska fans wanted to last night, but there's a lot to take away on a multitude of fronts that I'm sure you guys have talked a lot about already today, and we're going to be talking for the next couple of days as Nebraska gets ready for Penn State on Saturday.
Swim, tell me the ambiance, kind of tell me leading up to the game, because I like all the details, what you the pregame, you had some great footage of the team preparing, etc. Just walk us through pregame, what that atmosphere was like. Did you notice anything different? I know I'm being Inspector Gadget here, but just want to get it through your eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, before the game, it felt relatively normal. I was surprised. Austin and I were kind of talking. There was a lot of empty seats. We looked off to our left, and I will say this, the press seating area at Carver Hawkeye is as good as it probably could be anywhere. You're probably only 15 to 20 rows up off the floor, where obviously at Pinnacle Bank Arena, we're kind of up in the corner, which is still a really good seat, but not like it was at Carver Hawkeye yesterday. But it was interesting because, obviously they talked about the blackout, and that's kind of what they've been, preaching for and hoping that fans would show up as. There was a decent amount of red in the stands as well, especially behind the Nebraska bench like you'd expect it to be and stuff. But then, I looked up to the left, and there's some seats higher up, and Carver Hawkeye is kind of built into the ground. They kind of dug it out of the ground, and so it's like a bowl. But there's not really a bad seat in the house, in my opinion. It's not like there's multiple levels. There's multiple decks that you have to worry about. But there was a lot of empty seats. But I got to give the Iowa fans credit, unfortunately, because they did make it loud. And, obviously the way that game started, there was some chippiness right from the get-go. And obviously the way that Price Sanford was welcomed back, or rather unwelcomed back to the floor, was something to certainly take note of. And they were pretty passionate about, Nebraska coming in as a top 10 team, and they didn't like that idea.
Swim, real quick text, as you mentioned there, Scott in Minnesota, he goes, "Good morning, brother." He goes, "Cool that beating the Huskers is now worthy of court storming." I think that was symbolic. I did scratch my head at that last night as well, Scott. Swim, the welcoming party. Now, first of all, UCLA's coach, I forget his name, Rudy, I sent that to you this morning.
Nick
What is
Cronin.
that? Nick Cronin. Now, I think this is it's fitting in that he was talking to reporters after a game. We might dive into that tomorrow sometime. But a reporter was asking him about Michigan State's fans. I don't give a rat's tail, basically, obviously rhymes with mule, if you would. Not rhymes with, but you know what I'm saying. He goes, "I don't care what their fans are doing. That's not my business. I don't care what their fans are doing." Swim, the bellowing of blank Sanford, was it as loud as it seemed like it was on TV? And how long did that go for?
Oh, it was loud. And they Austin and I were just talking about 30 minutes ago or so as we kind of walked back. We're driving back, and hey, Waukee, Iowa, 7 miles away. Austin, we're 7 miles away from Price's hometown. Anyway, there's just a sign that we just passed. It was interesting. That's natural radio right there. But anyway, it was interesting because Austin and I were just kind of talking about how they kept it going for a full 3 hours last night, or not 3 hours, but 2 hours last night. It did not stop. And, it's unfortunate for Nebraska's case that they weren't able to maybe get Price a couple of more looks, because it's tough, when Price there was a moment in the first half, 3 shots attempted for Price in the first half. That's so uncharacteristic. You give credit to Iowa to a certain extent for what they were able to do defensively. The officiating can be a conversation as well. But, yeah, I thought it was interesting. Mick Cronin, here's the deal. Time and time again, that guy completely disrespects media members and reporters for asking simple questions. And I get it that, is that the most polarizing question for a reporter to ask? But no, it's not, right? To ask about the Michigan State student section. But like, here's the deal. Last night, Fred was as short and as curt with the media as I have ever seen it and I've ever experienced it. And I can't necessarily blame Fred Hoiberg. I know he was frustrated on a couple of different fronts. I think he was frustrated on how his team played last night. I think he was frustrated on some of the lack of execution that Nebraska had. And then I think, things that were outside of Nebraska's control, I think he was a little frustrated about as well. But, he sat in there. I think he took 4 or 5 questions from us media members. And he did a really good job, I think, at times of also not allowing his emotions immediately after the game to get in the way of his answers. And whether that comes across as at times, short and he doesn't want to talk and it's, cold shoulder type of thing. And yeah, coaches are required to speak to the media after the game. But I thought, we always talk about how players take on the personality of their head coach, and Fred's got fire. And I know obviously there's videos surfacing about what happened after the game and stuff with Fred and somebody that was storming the court and things like that. Fred has fire, but I thought in the moment, you hear Price Sanford after the game, and he goes, "Look, I didn't even hear the students chanting the stuff towards me," and things like that. So we're seeing the poise of this team time and time again, even after a loss, the same way we do after a win, and that's just part of it. I think with Fred Hoiberg.
Scott in Minnesota, he goes, Michigan didn't but go nuts. Iowa, enjoy the big win. Just looking for the silver lining. I agree with you on that, brother. Michigan is used to getting things done, caliber they are. Swim, I do not fault Fred one bit for being short. I think he did what he took care of his media responsibilities. He's not going to come in there with, rainbows and unicorns after you lose the way that you did. And I kind of put in our group text yesterday, Swim, it was a choppy and sloppy game overall. Swim, you were there. In fact, Jeff Essing's got a bone to pick with you too, man. He goes, you gave him the presidential wave. You didn't even go up and talk to him. Is that true?
I was in the middle of a conversation with an Iowa media member that, in fact, we were talking about the game and talking about some details with the game. Also, we were talking about Iowa baseball when I waved at Jeff.
So you just gave, the guy that you share a studio with, you just gave him a courtesy wave 5 hours away from home, couldn't go up and give him a high five or something like that?
I did not mean anything by it. I can guarantee you I did not mean anything by it.
He's going to beat you down. You just know that's coming.
Well,
Swim. Yeah, they're around the block. Well, hey, dude, to get back on that point, Swim, did you feel, because for me, and Rudy, I want you to hop in here too after you answer this, will come with a question. Swim, I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen earlier. This has seemed like a pattern, and it's not seem like, it is a pattern. You start off 14-1 slow against Purdue, okay? You start off slow against a team, against Northwestern, who you eventually beat by 20-21, et cetera. Granted, you can get away with that against a team, and there's no disrespect against Northwestern. It's the truth. Outside of Martinelli, not a lot of guys on that roster are going to scare you. You start slow and almost fatigued, and almost like Swim, I'm just going to tell you, it almost seemed like they were disinterested at times against a border rival, against a team who was 18-6 at the time, a team who could really use a quad one win, a team that you despise. It just seemed like, now granted, I know Iowa's home, it's the return of Sanford, they're yelling things, but man, and it wasn't just me, a number of my buddies said, dude, they just don't seem like they're interested until it got crunch time. Now granted, we can talk about the refs in situation all the time, but in my opinion, that was not why they lost the game. Nick, it just seemed like they have just started slow the past 3 weeks, and it's bit them in the tail 2 out of the 3 times.
Yeah, I think Fred, one of the things he did say last night in the post-game conversation was that there was a couple of reasons why he felt like they lost the game. One was because they just didn't have the want to at times. And that's something that Austin and I, when we did our pregame piece over social media yesterday for about 30 minutes before tip-off, that's one of the things that we brought up. I was telling Austin earlier, it's not that I question whether or not Nebraska wants to be there. It's not me even questioning their effort. It's the edge that they kind of play with. And it's not that they don't have that killer mentality in them that every, team that tries to make some noise in March has. but it's that we haven't seen it consistently since December. Really, there's been parts of it that we saw in January, some impressive road wins as well. This team is capable. We always make the comparison to, like Fred Hoiberg says, men win on the road. We always talk about how, Nebraska's shown that they can be a group of men. They can be that kind of group that goes on the road, doesn't care about the opponent, and just goes and gets their job done in a business-like approach. We have to confuse. We cannot confuse the execution and I would say smooth display at times we see on the floor with lack of effort. Because when teams are running on all cylinders and you also have really talented players in terms of basketball, and like I always love the comparison with Bryce McGowan's, one of the most stupid comments that Husker fans would have is that when Bryce McGowan's was playing, it looked like he wasn't giving effort. No, some guys, it just comes easier to them. It's just smoother for some of these guys. When Nebraska's firing on all cylinders, their offense runs smooth. They're executing well. Their offense helps them out on the defensive end of the floor, and vice versa. It's not that I think Nebraska doesn't want to be there or it doesn't give the effort game in and game out, because I don't question that, especially with guys like Rink and Sam and even Jamarcus Lawrence. But the way that it played out yesterday, unfortunately, with the officiating, it was a very choppy game. Jamarcus Lawrence had to sit down early in the first half. You had to deal with some foul issues with both Berke and Rink Mass later in the first half as well. Nebraska could never really get into a rhythm, and when you don't get into a rhythm, it's hard to have that killer mentality when it's all said and done. I think Nebraska, they're searching for this edge. A big part of the edge in the first part of the season was Braden Frager. He kind of stormed onto the scene. His athleticism coming off the bench was a big boost for Nebraska, and we just haven't seen that since his ankle injury. And that's where there's a couple of pieces that Nebraska still has, and we've seen them before, and that's what makes it so disappointing and frustrating at times, is because we've seen Nebraska operate in the way that we know they can. We're just not seeing it consistently for a full 40 minutes right now.
Go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah. Rudy here, Nick. I got a question for you. So I'm looking at the stats here, and something that did stand out to me when I was giving this a gander, I'm like, the points on turnovers kind of just stood out like a sore thumb here. 13 for Iowa, 3 for Nebraska. And I'm not sure if that's been the case all year or what was off from that perspective of the game here, but I think that goes hand in hand there. If you're able to capitalize on the mistakes of the other team, that'll take you a decent ways here. And I'm in games that we've kind of been losing, that seems to not be a case every single time, but especially last night on the road, hostile environment, you have to be able to capitalize on these small windows of errors you get.
Rudy, you're 100% right, man. And that was something that Austin and I broke down on the post-game conversation last night, was the points off of turnovers or lack thereof for Nebraska. You ask anybody that watches this basketball team on some sort of a consistent basis, and you say, hey, is Nebraska better in transition or are they better in the half court? You're going to say transition. Nebraska usually, capitalizes and thrives on their transition opportunities. Sometimes those result in a Price Sanford 3. Sometimes they result in a Sam Hoiberg layup. There were a lot of times early in the game. I say a lot of times, a couple of times early in the game as well, when Nebraska was trying to settle in, that there were a couple of layups that Nebraska just blew. And Sam Hoiberg missed one, Rink Mass missed one on the doorstep. Now those weren't necessarily off of, Jamarcus Lawrence, those weren't necessarily off of turnovers, but when you're trying to get settled in, those types of things can start to pile up. And then, hey, guess what? You lose by 5, and you look at a couple of layups that you missed and go, man, if we just make a couple of those and we hit a couple more free throws, we're on the right side of this thing. I think it's important to remember Nebraska's not getting blown out on these games. And when you look at the losses that they have, it's to 4 NCAA tournament teams. We're nitpicking quite a bit at a 22-4 team. I'm not saying we don't deserve to nitpick, right? Like, it's the same conversation that I have when talking about, expectations for the NCAA tournament. This specific team, this specific roster deserves to have higher expectations because they've shown that through their play. This is a team that deserves to be talked about like a round of 32, a Sweet 16 team, not just a one win in the NCAA tournament and everybody is happy and it's all peaches and rainbows. But at the end of the day, you're right, Rudy. The points off of turnovers, and part of that goes to the officiating. If Nebraska's trying to get out in space and get out and run, and the transition opportunity gets stopped because of a whistle, there were multiple times last night where transition or potential transition opportunities got stopped because Jeffrey Anderson, one of the referees, thought there was a double foul and then called it incidental contact. And like those types of things that are outside of Nebraska's control, unfortunately, just kind of hurt Nebraska at times. And they were never, neither team, Nebraska and Iowa, were never really able to get into a rhythm. But as I'm sure you guys have talked about, we've talked about it endlessly as well, Iowa plays better and is suited better for those types of games, and we saw it last night.
Swim, the same night, 24-year record, school record fell, Nebraska scored a season low, 52 points. Came up, obviously, we talked about in the defensive battle. Swim, was it concerning to you that the offense just simply disappeared when it mattered? 9 points, Swim, in the final 12 minutes. 4 points in a 10-minute stretch. Excuse me. Just 2 of 5 from the field in the final 5 minutes. Iowa also didn't make a field goal in that final stretch, and Nebraska we still couldn't capitalize. So although we were stopping them on the defensive end, we couldn't capitalize on the offensive end. It wasn't about Iowa necessarily lighting it up, because they weren't, obviously, because of the score. But Swim, it just seemed like our offense went south in the most critical time last night, man.
Yeah, and I will start out by giving the credit to Iowa's defense. They locked down a lot of Nebraska, and it was tough going for Price all night. It was tough for Sam Hoiberg to get any sort of space, and I think Fred Hoiberg talked about it after the game as well. He said, "Look, at the end of the day, give Iowa credit, but also Nebraska just missed shots." And Nebraska goes, 5 of 24 from beyond the 3-point line. Iowa went 6 of 23 from beyond the 3-point line. Like, it's not like it's not like Iowa was shooting the lights out of the building either. Nebraska was fine defensively, especially in a game that was very, very physical. And I thought Nebraska might have been able to do a better job of adjusting to how the game was being officiated. But then, unfortunately for both teams, the game changed in how it was being officiated, it felt like, in the second half. And that's hard for any team, Nebraska and Iowa, to kind of adjust to. It was a very clunky game, and Nebraska, unfortunately, just wasn't able to get much space offensively. Price Stanford hit that one acrobatic shot from the right wing in the second half from beyond the 3-point line, and we thought, okay, maybe he's going to be able to get into a little bit of a groove here. But Nebraska struggled to get him just touches the entire game, and part of that is you give credit to Bennett Sturts, who dropped 25 points on 22 shots. I mean, it's just crazy, the lack of efficiency there. But it's just that's what Iowa does. They play better in those types of games than Nebraska does. And now it's back to the drawing board as they try to figure out, over these last couple of games, teams have done a much better job, partially because they've been allowed to be very physical with Price Stanford away from the ball. And Nebraska's got to go back to the drawing board, and hopefully they have some things in their back pocket in the final 5 regular season games and then into the Big Ten Conference Tournament and so on and so forth, because Price Stanford's going to need to be a key cog in this formula and stuff, in this operation for Nebraska, if they do want to have some success in the postseason.
Swim, some of my keys yesterday, as you know, as we discussed, was the importance of getting Stanford hot early.
Yeah,
that did not happen. In fact, a number of things did not happen yesterday, hence where we are. Swim, let me ask you this before we let you go, man. I know you guys are rolling. Nebraska, obviously, and me and Rudy will talk more about this as well. Nebraska, obviously, they got Penn State on Saturday. How crucial is it going to be for Nebraska to shake this slow start? You're at home, which I go back to Purdue again, but this is a team that you should beat. And Swim, as you know, like yourself, I had concerns about last night's game. I had concerns about last night's game simply because, the border battle, the All Black, and just Iowa in general. And unlike their former coach, this guy they play defense, and we saw that last night. So By no means am I going to go say, well, the refs cost the game. No, that's hogwash. Refs did not cost Nebraska this game. Their cold shooting, which the numbers I just mentioned, cost Nebraska the game. And the intensity, quite honestly, of Iowa's defense. Nebraska didn't respond. Swim, Nebraska is not sneaking up on teams anymore. It seems like the games that we have lost against Purdue, Michigan, and Illinois, and now Iowa, we've kind of seen some of the same things disrupt their transitional offense. How does Nebraska come back and rebound from that loss and get things back on the winning track on Saturday against Penn State?
It's a lot of the same keys, I think, before Northwestern and before we broke down Iowa. Is you need to come out and play a complete 40 minutes. I think also part of it is you're searching for some bright spots. I think like Nebraska in the regular season here, there's going to be probably spots where they might need somebody like Jared Garcia to play some minutes. And there was moments last night, like from a matchup standpoint, I thought Cale Jacobson did a fine job, was struggling to shoot the basketball. But because of Jamarcus Lawrence's foul trouble, they had to rely on Cale maybe in some spots that they would have obviously preferred to have Jamarcus going against Sturts or whoever on that Iowa team. And Penn State, Austin and I were talking about it. You got to come out and beat the brakes off them. That's honestly the way you kind of bounce back. And we talked about the edge earlier and stuff. I think we can all agree we'd really enjoy to see Nebraska come out on Saturday at PBA against a team that you are better than on not only on paper but through our own eyes. We've seen that you are better than this Penn State team. That come out, take this loss personal, and I'm kind of stealing Austin's angle here, so sorry, Austin. But take this loss against Iowa a little personal, and then let's go ahead and see that edge. Let's see that edge where you do not lay off the gas, and you may leave no doubt on Saturday, and you do the same mentality the next time out next week against Maryland, and then you take that into your West Coast trip at the end of February and early March, and then guess what? You get another crack at Iowa at the end of the year. And you'd feel pretty good if you're able to finish out this season on a 5-game winning streak. You got to start it somewhere, and it needs to start Saturday with that, getting that edge back at home. I hope that we see a pissed off Nebraska basketball team on Saturday, because I think that, while there was a lot of things outside of their control that certainly hindered them and hurt them in last night's game, there's certainly a lot of things that you can point to and say, all right, because of things whether or not Nebraska did or didn't do, they lost that game last night. And you can say that about Purdue and Illinois at home as well, and Michigan I kind of put up in a different category just because their roster was so depleted with key guys that day.
Swim, man, we appreciate you taking the time to call in, man. You guys are edging your way closer back to the capital city. Austin, will Austin be on his show today?
Yeah, so Austin and I will be taking care of Old School from 3 to 6. We're giving Jay Foreman his birthday off. How about that? How kind of us are we? But no, just kidding. I mean, we decided, hey, we're going to have plenty to talk about. So Austin and I will be taking care of Old School from 3 to 6 this afternoon.
I look forward to it, man. I'll be maybe catch that from the air as well. I know you and Austin will have a lot of synopsis. Nick, I got one more question for you, man. How long was Fred in the presser? You said for about 4 questions, maybe?
Yeah, so there was I think 5 questions for Fred Hoiberg's presser, and I asked the last one. Here's the thing. He was pretty short with some of the reporters that are there every single day, and I feel for them because they all got columns to write and stories to write, and they thrive off of the post game answers. And Fred didn't give them a whole lot yesterday, but I was a little concerned, not with my question to Fred. I was worried. I was telling Austin. So my question to Fred was, did you get an explanation on the Jamarcus Lawrence backcourt violation call? And it was the last question of his presser. And I didn't know, I didn't want him thinking I was trying to put him in like a gotcha situation, but I did see him during the game talking to Jeffrey Anderson, who was the referee who called it. And Jeffrey Anderson did like some 2-handed motion with the basketball to basically explain his case on why he called it over and back. And I didn't know what the explanation was. And Fred Hoiberg goes, well, I see. He started to dive into I was talking to, and then he cut himself off and just said, no, I didn't get an explanation. So that was the answer from Fred, and he wasn't in a great mood last night. I don't blame him one bit, but it was still a good evening.
Swim to the guy real quick. Did the guys fly into Iowa City, or did they take a charter bus?
They took a charter last night. Yeah, they've been back home already.
Yeah, they hopped right in. Swim, you and Austin, thank you so much for you guys' work. They're excited to check you guys out on Old School from 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. to go deeper between the numbers and the analysis there. You guys travel safe. Thanks again for calling in, Swim. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Looking forward to it. Rudy, thanks for holding things down, my friend. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You bet. Folks, me and Rudy will be back. We're going to read some more of your comments. We're going to dive some more between these numbers. Of course, Nebraska's lost against Iowa last night, Iowa City. It's The Drive. You got Rudy on the ones and twos, me on the road. We'll be right back.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas, this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket's social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney location. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Get ready, Lincoln. It's a huge weekend at the Icebox. The Lincoln Stars are back home Friday and Saturday taking on their conference rival Fargo Force in a critical push in the playoffs. Both nights, enjoy $8 vodka Red Bulls while you cheer on the Stars as they battle for postseason positioning. Saturday's game is being presented by Eagle Raceway, so expect even more high-octane excitement. The puck drops at 7 o'clock on Friday and 6 o'clock on Saturday. Don't miss your chance to be part of the push for the playoff energy. Secure your seats now at LincolnStars.com and be there when it matters most.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Folks, we are back. Got my man Rudy holding it down to the ones and twos in the studio. Rudy, I'm getting some heat from my buddies, man. Aikman, Adelphia, and Troy Bolte. Troy, me, Aikman, and Troy all went to high school together. Those two guys were at Goodrich. They were the Olympians or some dumb name like that. No, I'm joking. Ooh, the Olympians. But hey, I got to admit, they did whoop our tail in basketball and track, though. But no, Aikman's a Northwestern guy. He played basketball at Northwestern there in Chicago, so he's giving me some heat right now about dogged Northwestern, talking about talent. Rudy, here's the deal. And Troy, I'm glad you listened. And Aikman, I'm glad you listened. And to the listeners out there listening, it's not a knock to say Northwestern is not in our caliber. They're not. That's just a fact. Yeah. That's just a fact. You know, that's just like saying I'm drinking coffee right now. It's not water. You know, Nebraska has more talent. They're deeper than Northwestern. So, Aikman, I applaud you. The Wildcats are a decent brand. They have the gym the size of the Salvation Army Community Center in Small Fry, but nevertheless, they're a good team. So Rudy, that's just me just teeing off on his tail a little bit. But no, my point was besides Martinelli, there's not other guys on that team that are going to concern us. It's just a simple matchup thing. And it goes, you can look at Nebraska. The margin of error is a lot smaller when you don't match them talent-wise. We can look at Purdue. You know, they exploited us in the paint. And you know what, folks? You think about the teams we've lost to, and Rudy, me and Nick have talked about this ad nauseum. We've been exploited in the paint. You know what I'm saying? And that happened against Illinois, happened against Purdue, it happened against Michigan. And in some aspects of it, even last night, although we were pretty much even. But for the most part, those parts have hurt Nebraska. Rudy, I personally feel that Nebraska's stretch here from a psychological standpoint is big because, Rudy, let's think about this, man. It ain't like Nebraska basketball has done this before.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's no template, there's no body of work, there's no history from years past from them to dig from. You know, so they're kind of, I'm not saying they're building the plane as they're flying, but in a sense it is because we've never been in this type of air before. Do you understand what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where, like you're saying, there's nothing to compare it to, kind of. So these growing pains, you're just going into them kind of blind. I understand. Like, it's just you got to take the punches as they come, and then you're adjusting on the fly is kind of how it seems right now. It's not a problem, but yeah.
Big Daddy Travis, I think is a good point in that Nebraska basketball is not the same. Seems like teams have figured out how to defend them, and they can't adjust. I would say this: they're definitely not the same. And you know what, Big Daddy Travis? Everyone knew what the Bulls were going to do when they ran the triangle. Now, obviously, that's somewhat of a bad example because you had, in my opinion, I'm not even going to say arguably the best player in the game. You had Michael Jordan, the best I've ever seen in my lifetime. Again, I'm saying my lifetime. I can't speak on Wilt Chamberlain. I can't speak on the big old Oscar Robertson. I can't speak on Bill Russell, etc. But everyone knew the Bulls were going to run the triangle. Everyone knew Nebraska was going to run the option. So it's less knowing what they're going to do. It's more about how can you execute and stop it. And to your point, Big Daddy Travis, other teams have done a great job at knowing what Nebraska likes to do. We like to get out and run. We're like a very flow and fluid offense. They have thrown disruptions and stoplights, if you would, in our green light offense. They've thrown a lot of stop signs, a lot of yield signs, construction zones. And I mean that by the defense they played. Rudy, last night, and I know you caught the last part, dude, I was relentless on defense from the very tip. Very tip.
I believe it too, like that. The whatever I was able to catch, that's all it looked like. Just constant pressure, kind of everywhere they were at, on ball, off ball. There was someone just glued to their hip, and just you kind of saw it. Not them folding under pressure, the Huskers, but you kind of saw the more pressure being applied. They kind of not got out of system, but they kind of lost a lot of their identity of what they're good at towards the end of the game for sure.
Rudy, I'm looking at this text. I can't even read everything what he said to me, but nevertheless, I'll talk about that later. Bill and Bennett, we're going to read some of these texts. Bill and Bennett, you asked me, and Bill, I didn't forget your question. It's a good one. Which hurts worse to you, AD? Losing to Iowa in football or basketball? Oh, it's definitely football for me, Bill. I can only speak for myself in that because of the history, with both teams being competitive at times. Now, 40-16, obviously not competitive. Whatever we lost in this year is not competitive. But historically, it's been football because of the spies there. However, I hate losing to Iowa in anything. I don't care if it's downhill sledding at Tanker Hill and Air Park. I just do not like cheering for Iowa. But Bill, to your point though, man, for me it would definitely be in football. But I hate losing to Iowa anything. And Rudy can read some of those texts on there. What do you got on the YouTube stream, man? Any questions? Any texts on there? Because I've got some here as well, brother.
Let's see, nothing truly on YouTube yet, which is all right. But yeah, we got some more text on the text line here. A lot of kind of what Nick was getting to, just the turnovers and rebounds being some of the biggest kind of discrepancies that are playing a factor into kind of the sloppiness or just the lack of hustle and just the second chance opportunities that are just being missed out on right now.
One of the texts here, Dirty Tony, the boys. You mentioned Dirty Tony, the boys talking about something that morning. Good morning to you anyway, though, Dirty Tony, the boys. Big Daddy Travis, I answered yours right there. I totally agree with you. We got it. Nebraska's definitely got to adjust. Virginia Pirate, good morning, brother. He goes, I don't think it was just missing shots. The tempo was completely in Iowa's favor. I agree with you that, brother. Half court, physical game that Nebraska didn't handle well. I agree with you on that as well. They lost by 5. So not a huge panic, but Nebraska can't let that happen again. Virginia Pirate, I agree with you, man. They slowed the game down. As I mentioned, they put a lot of stop signs and yield signs and construction zones to impede Nebraska's fluidity. And we just weren't the same team going into that. Unknown texter 52-53 turnovers and rebounds. And overall stats, Rudy, I mean, you look at points from turnovers. We got 3, they got 13. So that is a 10-point disparity right there to your point. In the paint, we got 26, they got 18. So we kind of held our own there. Second chance, they got us by 4. We had 4, they had 8. Fast break points, we had 10, that 8. Bench was even at 12 and 12. So, what's the stats did not jump out like just tragic other than the points off turnovers. I mean, like I said, they got 10 off of that. And Nebraska seemed like they were just lethargic and sloppy at times. And Virginia Pirate, to your point, Nebraska cannot afford to come out that way on Saturday versus Penn State. Rudy, you look at Nebraska's remaining schedule, man, who they have come in. I just had this up, and I'll pull it up again, bro. You got obviously Penn State at 1:00. And Penn State, their previous games, Penn State's a team that's 11-15. But you look at Penn State's schedule, They had just lost to Oregon on last Saturday. They play Rutgers tonight at 5 p.m. They beat Washington 63-60. They lost to USC by 2. They got blown out by Michigan. And then they won against Minnesota that was pesky with us for a while until we pulled away. So this is a team to where, but they struggled. They fought it out with Ohio State. But in all due purposes, Rudy, this is a game that we should win, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. But again, this is a game we should win. But Rudy, if you're trying to talk me into not being nervous, how would you do it against Penn State? How would you talk me and saying, AD, these are the reasons why to be cool about this game? Or you're saying, AD, I feel you, dog. I feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of just need to understand, like you're saying, you don't want to go in there thinking, oh, we are better than these guys and it should be a cakewalk or anything, because I think that's when teams can obviously slip up and get some hiccups in there. But at the end of the day, you got to realize the same thing with with Northwestern, like you've been saying, the talent discrepancy should be there. You should be able to take care of business, but at the same time, we have conversations like this at practice all the time. If you're not what you're building your team to be, you're not really going to be as good as you think you are at anything. So as long as they can tighten up some little kinks here and there, I think they know that they're the more talented team. At least they should be, and they should go in there and beat a team like this in Penn State how they expect to. But it's just going to come down to doing the little things right, like we've seen them kind of get away from in some of these losses. I mean, just trust in yourself. I would.
Mm-hmm. Rudy, the next 2 combined games, obviously Penn State at 1 o'clock on Saturday. You got Maryland home Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. They're combined 21-30. That is the record of Penn State and Maryland. These are games that in my opinion, you absolutely must win. You absolutely must beat Penn State. You absolutely must beat Maryland. These are both home games. Again, the combined record is 21-30. That could change tonight because both of those teams play today and tomorrow. Then you go out to USC on Saturday. You start that West Coast swing. You go to USC, a team that is, in fact, very similar to Iowa because USC is 18-7 right now. You don't want to go in there splitting 1-1 at home with 2 teams with a combined record of 21-30, Rudy. You can't afford to do that. And I actually may watch this game tonight if it's on TV. Yeah, it is. USC plays Illinois tonight. And that game it's on the Big Ten Network. That game is going to be at I'm not watching that. It's at 9 o'clock. Rudy, I'm still paying the price from last night, staying up until 10:30, man. So I'll have to catch that. But that's going to be a game, folks. If you want to see what Nebraska, obviously, he's not skipping ahead of USC. He's not skipping ahead against Maryland. But to get a look, if you've not watched USC play yet, they're going to play Illinois tonight. And at 9 o'clock start, I'm assuming that's in Los Angeles. So a 9 o'clock start on BTN. If you want to watch a game tonight to get a feel for USC, BTN will have that game tonight. But Nebraska absolutely must take care of business against Penn State on Saturday and then on Maryland on Wednesday at home. Both of those games are at home. You can't lose the home games against teams with a combined record of 21-30. Can't do it. Folks, we'll be right back with the AD Attitude Adjustment. It's AD and Rudy holding it down at the mothership. We'll be back. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Lincoln's Coffee Week is now Coffee Month in February. With 25 participating venues, visit and check into at least 10 for a chance to win a $250 gift card to the venue of your choice. More details at lincoln.org/coffee-month, brought to you by Visit Lincoln.
Tired of your furnace running overtime this winter? Let Heartland of Nebraska Windows save the day. Upgrade to stunning, energy-saving triple-pane vinyl windows installed by their team of experts. Every window comes with a lifetime warranty on everything, all for a price you can actually afford. Free estimates, flawless replacements, and peace of mind from a family-owned business you can trust. Don't wait. Call Heartland of Nebraska Windows at 402-430-3852 or visit heartlandofnebraskawindows.com today.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. Husker Nation, your perfect softball plan is here. With the flexible Husker softball on deck deal, you choose the action. For just $38, pick any 4 games plus 1 from the Can't Miss Iowa series. Build your own schedule, catch your favorite matchups, and cheer on the Huskers your way all season long. But don't wait, these mini plans won't last. Visit huskers.com/tickets and make your own mini plan today. Go Big Red.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That beat, Rudy, got me.
Yep.
That's an old school dude. Rudy, let me ask you this, man. So, like, you guys started baseball practice, and Rudy, there was someone in the text line that asked earlier. I was kind of going over my notes, and I apologize for missing that one. With your baseball, what year are you in school? What position do you play? And what does you guys' spring ball look like, man?
So I'm in my 5th year right now. I had a back surgery a couple years ago that took me out the whole season. So I'll be in my 5th year, which I'm cool with. I think it's been interesting. I got to learn a lot while I was out, and then come back last year, had a good year, decent year. I was a key factor in our little championship run we went on, so that was cool. But other than that, right now we're looking decent. We got our first game Saturday here in Lincoln. Hopefully, if the weather holds up. But yeah. It's looking good right now. A lot of young guys on our team, so that's our biggest, not question mark, but we're lacking experience this year is all, but we'll be all right.
Louis, what position do you play?
I play first base and DH, so I'm just there to hit. Really, is what I tell everybody. It's awesome.
So Rudy said, "I'm just here to hit, man. I'm just here to hit." Rudy, I love it, man, brother. I appreciate you being the DH for us this morning, man. While Nick was traveling, brother, appreciate all the work and the support that you provide all the mornings and days and afternoons and evenings as well. So, brother, appreciate you, man. Hope the rest of the day goes well for you. Folks, the 80 attitude adjustment for today. Something I posted on my socials this morning. I call it the AAM attitude alignment. I did it from the gym this morning. I'm just thinking, folks, procrastination has cost me a lot. I know I kind of delve in this at different times with you, but I want you to think about, what does procrastination cost you, regardless of what it is? Now, here's the story. Had I procrastinated on going into my doctor in April of 2021, I would not be on the air, because I would not be here. I would not most likely be alive. I can't stress enough. This is I do this on a regular basis. Just learned about another buddy of mine who I hadn't talked to in a while was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Fellas, I can't beg you enough. This is for the guys out there. I know there's ladies that listen to, but this is for the guys, and this for the ladies too. Get into your annuals. I can't beg you enough. Fellas, you have to ask for your PSA. Ask your doctor for your PSA numbers that you want to get checked. And you know what? If you got a family history, the earlier the better. It doesn't hurt you to start early, but at least at 40 years old. Please, I can't beg you enough. Fellas, guys and girls, Rudy, if I didn't go to my doctor and get it checked out, if I would have waited until the fall like I was going to do, I would not most likely be alive today. I had early and I had a very aggressive form of prostate cancer. Yes, it's crappy to find out. Yes, there's a lot of things you have to do afterwards. And quite honestly, Rudy, I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Dude, I had a pull-up for a couple months. I'm a big kid now. I mean, I had a pull-up, man, because you literally have to retrain. I was doing all sorts of things called Kegels to control flow, all those things, fellas. I'm just telling you, yes, I didn't want to do it. Yes, there were some embarrassing moments. But you know what else, really? I'll take embarrassment rather than dead.
Yep.
I'll take inconveniences rather than dead. I'll take, maybe, just brutally honest here, being over the urinal a little longer than being dead. All, the catheter, as much as that sucked, I'll take that for the days, number of almost 2 weeks that I had it, rather than being dead. Get in. Do not procrastinate. Some things won't cost you. Your health, it will. Get in, get checked. Do not procrastinate. Rudy, appreciate your brother, man. Great show. I know I was firing texts off to you and emails. I was like, he's at baseball practice, man. But, brother, I appreciate you. Folks, kind of a quick recap. We talked about TJ Finley on his way to Incarnate Word, 7 years in. Northern Illinois coach Mac Thomas decides to become the running backs coach there for the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks. Also, we talked about Biasca leaving Green Bay as their special teams coordinator. And we also talked about the hefty fine that IMG took for receiving unknown drug cartel money. They self-reported, so they're good to go. And, of course, we had Swim that called in along with Austin at 10 o'clock to break down the Iowa-Nebraska game. You want to listen to them again at 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. They'll be breaking down old school as well. Folks, stay tuned for next. You'll have one-on-one with DP. And I believe Lionheart will be on as well. Am I correct with that, Rudy?
I believe so. Waiting on confirmation on that, but should be.
Absolutely. Put it this way, we'll be on the air. Stay tuned. Rudy, appreciate you, folks. Thanks for listening. I will be back Zooming again, but from St. Louis. We'll talk to you then. Have a great day.